Now, Nigeria's homegrown film industry, Nollywood, continues to play a pivotal role in the country's economic growth. Analysts say the sector not only entertains millions, but also creates jobs for millions of other people. It also supports related industries, including fashion, music, and tourism. In 2025, Nigeria's creative economy reached 14.8 billion, with Nollywood contributing a significant portion through cinema, streaming, and digital content. By August, cinema earnings alone hit 10 billion naira, reflecting a 58% growth from the previous year. Blockbusters such as Funke Akindele's Behind the Scenes and Yemi Filmboy Morafa's Ginger grossed over 1 billion naira combined, proving that locally produced films can compete commercially. Now, from box office hits to record-breaking ticket sales, Nollywood continues to prove that it's not just about entertainment. It's a major force now in Nigeria's creative economy. 2025 has seen films shatter records, generate billions in revenue, and cement Nigeria's place in the global film market. Now, here's a look at the top 20 highest grossing Nollywood films of all times. We start out with Everybody Loves Jenifa. That was in 2024, directed by Funke Akindele and Tunde Olaoye. This comedy blockbuster raked in 1.88 billion naira, topping the charts and delighting audiences nationwide. A Tribe Called Judah in 2023, another Funke Akindele hit, also co-directed with Adeoluwa Owu, grossed 1.41 billion naira, proving the power of engaging storytelling. Behind the Scenes 2025, directed by Funke Akindele and Tunde Olaoye, this film pulled in 1.10 billion, highlighting the rising influence of Nollywood in recent years. And of course, I think it might get beyond that 1.1 billion. Battle on Booker Street 2022, a collaborative effort between Funke and Toby Makinde, earned 668.4 million naira, celebrated for its comedy and relatable themes. Omo Ghetto, the saga 2020, directed by Funke and JJC Skills, action comedy grossed 636.1 million naira, reinforcing the appeal of Nollywood franchises. Ginger 2025, Yemi Filmboy Morafa's film, earned 521.9 million naira, a testament to the new wave of directors making waves in the industry. Alakada, Bad and Bourgeois 2024, Adebayo Tijani's hit brought in 500.6 million naira, showing that comedy remains a strong box office draw. The Wedding Party 2016, directed by Kemi Adetiba, now grossed 452.3 million, making weddings a Nollywood staple. The Wedding Party 2, in Nia Akimolayon's sequel, followed up with a 433.2 million, proving audiences love a good follow-up. Ori, Rebirth in 2025, directed by Muyiwa Ademola and team, this mystical drama grossed 419.6 million, highlighting Nollywood's diversity. Chief Daddy 2018, Nia Kimolayon's family comedy, 387.5 million naira, cementing ensemble cast as a winning formula. Queen Latifah 2024, Adeoluwa's Owu's release brought in 365.5 million. The Waiter, Toka Magbora's film, pulled in 363.6 million naira, blending comedy and social commentary. Real Love 2025, Kayode Kasumu's hit, brought in 356.8 million, reinforcing dominance in romantic drama. Brotherhood 2022, directed by Lukman Ali, earned 328.9 million naira. And then King of Thieves 2022, Tokwe Adebayo and Adebayo Tijani's film, pulled in 320.8 million, a crime story loved by audiences. Malaika in 2023, Steve Sodia's drama grossed 303.5 million. And Sugar Rush 2019, Kayode Kasumu's 287.1 million. Ijakumo 2022, directed by Adebayo Tijani and Steve Sodia, earned 278.5. Christmas in Miami 2021, Robert Peters' festive film, pulled in 265.6, proving that Nollywood thrives in every season. Now, that is a real data of the highest grossing movies in Nollywood in Nigeria. But we have, what would I call it, a cast One of them is laughing here. We have a cast, so to speak, on the 6th edition today. Professor Sola Fosudo joins us virtually. He's a theater scholar and lecturer at Lagos State University. Thank you for joining us, Prof.
Thank you very much for having me.
Here in the studio, we have Dimbo Atiya, CEO of ITK Media. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having
me. And Uchechukwu Okoro, founder and creative lead at Murdoch Incorporated, joins us from our studio in Lagos. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let me start with you, the producer who is here, Dimbo. You are a producer, and you've had, I mean, reeling out that data. The least of them was over 200 million naira. What does that say of the industry? Growth or?
Well, the beginning of the year looked like it was doom and gloom. Like it looked like everything was going to be bad, because at the end of 2024, we got the news that, of course, one of the benefactors of the industry had pulled out as a streamer. And all of a sudden, filmmakers were left with no other distributing option but the cinema. And, because at that point, we had conditioned ourselves to making films that were just go straight to the streamers, And so now, 2025, okay, what's going to happen? It looked like it was really going to be a bad year. But I mean, if you look at the numbers, at the end of the year, last year, about 15 point something billion in sales tickets alone, that is a massive growth, because that's about 58% of the growth in the industry. So yes, Nollywood has done well, despite what it looked like from the beginning of the year. I would say we've done very well.
Okay. Okay, Professor Fosudo, you are a thespian, you're a teacher, you have been in this industry. If I dare say, I think I grew up watching some of your shows. But Prof, would you say this money's rolling in is a testament of growth in the industry? We're not talking about the economy yet. We'll get to that in a bit.
Okay, thank you. Certainly, it's a sign that the industry is doing well. We only want to believe that some of these data, are very correct. I hope you got the data directly from the cinemas, because sometimes, the industry people have a way of hyping, what they are doing, particularly in terms of the money they are making. I don't know also if that translates to the way they pay their artists, because you hear that a film has grossed 1 billion, and if you ask some of the artists that are in that field, they'll be telling you how much they were paid, and you'll be shocked. So, but certainly the industry has grown from the time that when we started, films were being distributed and marketed by some marketers, in Idumota through the DVD and CD modes, and they take them all around the country. But when the digital platforms came, and then the cinemas also came, the game changed. And I'm so excited that Nigerians actually have, grown with the culture of going to cinemas. So I believe that also affected the income levels of the films that are doing well.
Okay,
so it's kind of good, and we're happy, for that.
Okay, let me take it to the distributor who is here with us. Uchechukwu Okoro, you are a distributor. Would the data we put out there, is it correct? Does it also translate? I'll ask the producer that one. But is that data correct, or is it being made up?
All right. So when it comes to box office numbers, one thing is an imperative. We only report the gross income revenue. We never report the profit. But one thing we should understand is those numbers, number one, they help bring in investors. They help create buzz around the movie, and essentially they help potential people who would want to invest in the economy know that, oh, something is happening here in Nigeria and we need to see what's happening there. Now, Funke Akindele has marked 1.1 billion in gross box office revenue. But like I said, that's just what we report. But at the tail end of it, is that what she takes home? No. At the end of the day, the cinemas will take half of that. So if she's made 1.1 billion, let me even use a simpler figure, 1 billion. If she's made 1 billion, the cinemas will take half of that and she's left with 500 million. Out of that 500 million, her marketing cost is definitely going to be deducted from that. Out of the marketing cost, you would have her pay in some of her investors. She's definitely going to pay in some of her investors. And then most of the actors, they really do not pay them. They really do not pay them off. So some of them, they have some sort of agreement to say, oh, you can't really pay this money as at the time when we're producing this movie. So what we're going to do is I'm going to feature in this movie, but then I'm going to have a royalty in it. So for every money it makes, this is how much percentage I'm going to be taking out. So when we look at all of that figure, right, what Funke essentially will be going back home with as profit might not be up to 200 or 300 million at the end of the day. So those numbers, there's a reason why we report the gross income revenue and not the profit. Okay. And Hollywood, it's an international practice. It's done everywhere. For example, Stranger Things, they could just have announced that it made about how many billion, but there's a reason for doing that. And one of the reasons is so that people can see what's happening. It also helps filmmakers understand what the audience would want to see, and then they tailor their stories to fit that particular narrative for the next cycle of distribution or cinema runs, if you like.
Okay. You're the producer. I mean, he has explained the figures we're seeing and why we have those figures. But in terms of the economy, the economics for the producer and for the filmmaker, let's use that, the economics for the filmmaker and the Nigerian economy and the actors, how does this work? Is there growth? Is there positivity? Is there light at the end of the tunnel?
So, to be honest, I think I get to agree with Professor at the end of the day, because when you hear these numbers, like the gentleman has explained, a lot of it most times goes to the distributors or the exhibitors, pretty much because of the overheads and the large infrastructure that is required for the cinema culture to, to expand in Nigeria. As it is right now, I'm not sure, but I'm sure we don't have up to 200 screens in this country yet. So whatever that means, is still limited for a 200 million population. It's very limited. And then because a lot of producers actually make this film from out of pocket or from investors who are willing to take risk, a lot of times we're limited because of the lack of the fund. So most of the times we tell the stories that are within reach, the low-hanging fruit stories that we can literally just translate for people to see. And most times we compensate for it for the performance and maybe the look and feel. A lot of times we're not ambitious enough to do the things that are, big time. Why? Because it requires a lot of the budget. So, because when you go to the cinemas, like I said, it's limited screen. That's number one, is limiting you. And then you probably have to do a lot of dancing on TikTok for people to want to run to go and see the movie. How many people want to do that? It means the marketing. I mean, he mentioned Funke Akindele. She's huge when it comes to the marketing. It's part of the budget from day one for her. It's very important that is. As a matter of fact, if you ask me, I think her marketing budget is more than the film budget itself, because she needs to create that buzz and that awareness, And so for me, I feel like so when it goes to the actors, a lot of times we don't have those back-end deals. I'm not sure. I haven't done those deals yet, but I'm sure maybe Funke Akindele has made one or two arrangements, because they will know that this film will make the numbers. I'm sure they will make some calls. But as it is right now, the formula that works for us is I pay you as an actor, we agree, and when we're done, you leave. You leave me with the success or the failure of the film. However it works, you've been paid, So I get to, if I make $1 billion out of it, I don't have to compensate you for anything unless I just want to be very generous. And so, being that we have limited resources or limited places where we can distribute, this is where investors need to begin to look at the film industry. There is a cinema culture, but we're lacking those cinemas and those screens. Okay. So community cinema. And that is what Femi Adebayo has experimented with his film this year. I think that investors should begin to look at, my wife and I were having this conversation this morning, the idea of having community cinemas.
I need to get to Prof. We're out of time. Prof, this is a situation we're in. The movies have come in. We've heard about the funds. We've heard about the monies, the gross earnings, but the growth in terms of the actors. You are building a newer crop of actors in your environment. You're teaching them. You're building them. Is there hope for them? I mean, for job creation and for growth?
Oh, certainly. The industry is growing in leaps and bounds, and most of the younger ones that we are training, many of them are already in the industry and are doing well. But you know, the film industry, as different from the theater industry, some of the actors, maybe like about 40%, you'll be surprised, 40% of the actors are not actually trained in the theater. Many of them just have the flair, they have the talent, and they go for auditions and they get picked. You know, the television and film is slightly different from the stage. There are certain qualities, you know, you can have that can give you a role in the film. Your face, your the way you are, you know, built, your physique, your voice. These are some of the things that can give you a role in the film.
Okay.
So about 35-40% of most of the actors who are doing well today in the industry are not actually from our departments.
All right, Prof, thank you so much. I have been told that we have to go. Uchechukwu Okoro, please forgive us, but we really have to go. And we'll make our time, find a way to get you back in. Let's talk about these numbers again. We've been speaking with Uchechukwu Okoro, founder and creative lead, Murdoch Incorporated, joined us from our Lagos studios. We had Dimbo Atiya, CEO, ITK Media, joining us here in our Abuja studio. Thank you. We also had Professor Sola Fosudo, theater scholar and lecturer at Lagos State University. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming in, and a happy new year to you.